Hi there, I'm Lucy from Japan. Today I'm going to talk about the spirit of Japanese emperor. The emperor of Japan is different from that of an emperor or a king who rules over his people with a powerful army and enormous wealth. In Japan, there is a famous old tale called the Kamado of the People, describes the emperor's way of thinking. The title of the Kamado of the People means cooking stove of the people. Today I would like to introduce the story of cooking stoves of the people. This story is from the reign of the 16th Emperor Nintoku and is written in the Nihon Shoki, Chronicles of Japan, one of the oldest history books in Japan. It is around the 4th century, so it is at least 1600 years ago. The current Emperor Naruhito is the 126th emperor, and it is said that the Japanese emperor has been in office for 2600 years. And to our surprise, the spirit of the cooking stove of the people has been passed down to the current Emperor Naruhito, Empress Masako, and their daughter, Princess Aiko. That is why the Japanese emperor system has continued for 2600 years with the support of the Japanese people. However, it is a great disappointment that the retired Emperor Akihito and his wife Michiko and Emperor Naruhito's younger brother Prince Akishino and his family do never understand the spirit of the cooking stoves of the people and are wasting taxpayers' money by too luxurious lifestyle. Let me begin with the story of cooking stove of the people. On February 6, 3 years after Nintoku became emperor, the emperor issued an imperial decree. Emperor Nintoku said, "When I climbed up on a hill and looked out over the country, I saw no smoke rising from cooking stoves of the people within the country. I guess that the people are so poor that they do not have enough food in their homes to cook meals." I've heard stories like this. In the time of a good emperor, the people enjoy their lives, sing songs, and houses are comfortable. Now I have been the emperor for 3 years. I have never heard of any singing of people. No smoke is rising from people's kitchen. In short, there must be no crops, and the people are destitute and starving. Even in the neighborhood of the imperial palace, people are suffering from poverty. Needless to say, life of the people who live in the countryside must be suffer further poverty. So on March 26 of the same year, he issued the following decree. From now until the end of the 3rd year, all taxes and labor shall be exempted to make the people's living get better. From that day on, the imperial family did not make new clothes or shoes until they were torn and tattered, ate poor food, and did not repair the palace, walls, and roof even when they collapsed. Wind and rain entered from the cracks of the palace and soaked the clothes. In the night, stars peeking through the roof and illuminated the floor. After this, the weather followed the seasons, and there was good harvest. For 3 years, the people became rich. The people enjoyed their daily lives, and smoke from cooking stoves came up. But the story continues. Emperor Nintoku said, "There must still be poor people," and he said, "For another 3 years, there shall be no taxation." The palace was in shambles, unable to repair due to no tax income. Rain leaks were all over the floor, and at night the imperial family slept with gazing at the night sky. Clothing were in tatters. Imperial family grew their own crops. Empress questions to Emperor Nintoku. "I married a great emperor because I thought I could afford luxury. So why should I have to live in such poverty?" But Emperor Nintoku still said, "The people of this country are my treasure, and I am satisfied with watching my people become rich, and be happy. Meanwhile, the people's lives got better, and seeing Emperor Nintoku was in such poverty, they began to offer the emperor to pay taxes and repair the palace. In October of the 10th year of Emperor Nintoku's reign, 6 years after the tax exemption, the emperor reactivated taxes and labor for the first time and repaired the palace. The people, young and old, cooperated with each other, carrying timber and baskets on their backs without being forced by anyone. They worked day and night, and soon the palace was repaired. For this reason, Emperor Nintoku has been called the Holy Emperor and is praised to this day. This is not just a beautiful legend or a fairy tale. His spirit of sharing hardships and joys with the people without extravagance has been passed down to the present-day emperors. Around 1900, Emperor Mutsuhito, Meiji Tenno in Japanese, the 122nd emperor of the Meiji era, believed in sharing hardships and joys with soldiers. During the Russo-Japanese War, he ate the same poor food as ordinary soldiers without hearing his entourage stop him. Also, when he was moved to the Hiroshima Imperial Headquarters during the Sino-Japanese War, he continued to work standing up in a cold and dark room without using the fireplace. This attitude remained unchanged even after his health deteriorated in his later years. He was a frugal man in his daily life, using only a brazier for heating, even on the coldest of days. In 1923, the era of next Emperor Taisho, the Great Kanto earthquake hit Japan. It was magnitude 7.9 earthquake. There were approximately 58,000 victims by the disaster. The person who immediately responded to the disaster in place of Emperor Taisho was Emperor Hirohito, who has been the regent since 1921 when he was the crown prince. Then 22-year-old Emperor Hirohito, Showa Tenno in Japanese, visited the disaster area immediately after the disaster, and he himself inspected the damage. He opened a plaza in front of the Imperial Palace, Shiba-Rikyu Palace, Shinjuku Gyoen Park, and Ueno Park, which were under the control of the Ministry of the Imperial Household at the time, for the relief of the disaster victims. He also donated 10 million yen from his private funds to the government as reconstruction funds. The amount is almost equal to 5 billion yen, about 37 million US dollars in today's value. He also donated wood from the forest of the Imperial Estate to be used for the reconstruction of public facilities. During the reign of the Emperor Hirohito in Showa era, the 124th Emperor of Japan, Japan was defeated in World War II. On August 15, 1945, the people were informed of Japan's defeat in the war through radios. At this time, the Emperor Hirohito was deeply worried about his citizens might be executed as war criminals. Then General of the Army, Douglas MacArthur, Supreme Commander of the Allied Powers, arrived in Japan from the United States. In his book, MacArthur described his meeting with Emperor Hirohito at 10 a.m. on September 27, 1945 as follows. The Emperor Hirohito spoke as follows. I told the Japanese people that I was going to carry out the war. I am the only one who is responsible for all the decisions and actions, both political and military, taken by the Japanese people in the conduct of the war. I am here to submit myself to the judgment of the Allied powers which you represent. I was deeply moved by his willingness to accept responsibility that involved death, a responsibility that, as far as I knew, should not obviously be attributed to the emperor. I thought that the emperor, who was standing right in front of me, was the finest gentleman in Japan, even as a human being. Also, during the war, the imperial palace was burned. After the war, Emperor Hirohito slept in an air-laid shelter because he shared the pain with the people, even when those around him suggested that he should build a new palace because it was bad for his health. The emperor said, "How can I live in luxury when there are people who still have no home to live in?" Then in 1961, as soon as the people's lives improved and the new imperial palace was built at last, they began to sleep in the palace. After the war ended, he lived in inconvenience for 16 years before the completion of the new imperial palace. I believe that the reason why Japan achieved a splendid economic recovery after the defeat of the war and became an economic superpower during the reign of Emperor Hirohito is because the people united their hearts with the emperor and did their best to recover after the war. Following Emperor Hirohito, the retired Emperor Akishino could not stop the lavish lifestyle of the former Empress Michiko. The spirit of sharing the people's hardship and joys for a long time was lost, and the former Empress Michiko became extremely extravagant, making a new dress every time she went out and even making 3 dresses for the same design for just in case. And she never wore the same dress twice. What a waste of tax money. The Japanese economy entered a period of depression in tandem with the extravagant lifestyle of the Emperor Akihito and his wife. It seems that more and more Japanese citizens are thinking that all they need to do is to be good to themselves. Then in 2019, Emperor Naruhito ascended to the throne. Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako have announced that in 2020, they will donate 50 million yen each, total of 100 million yen, about $740,000 to 2 organizations from their private property. Donation by the imperial family in excess of 18 million yen, about $133,000 are restricted by Article 8 of the Constitution and the Imperial Household Economy Enforcement Law, but the donation was decided following a resolution at the plenary session of the House of Councillors in March, allowing donations up to 100 million yen. The 2 organizations to which they donated this time are the Children's Future Support Fund and the National Disaster Volunteer Support Organization Network. Meanwhile, it was reported in April 2022 that former Empress Michiko gave her granddaughter Mako Komuro 10 million yen, about $74,000 as a gift before her death. And the same amount of money will be given to Mako Komuro every year. Mako Komuro married Kei Komuro, a commoner, in October 2021 and is currently living in New York. There are various suspicions that Kei Komuro studied in the United States, and his qualification as an attorney in New York State may be the use of imperial privileges. The former Empress Michiko is criticized about she has wasted big tax money, and now she never cares about the people but only cares about her granddaughter. In addition, the emperor's income is shared with the retired former emperor and his wife. The former emperor and his wife receives 2/3 of the total income, and the Emperor Naruhito and his family live on the remaining 1/3 of the budget and have no extra money. But still they donated 100 million yen to share the hardship with the people. Now the spirit of cooking stove of the people came back in the reign of Emperor Naruhito. Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako's only daughter, Princess Aiko, declined to make a new tiara made to commemorate her coming of age at 20 years old because she was worried about Japan's recession. The coming of age ceremony was held with a tiara borrowed from her aunt, ex-princess Sayako Kuroda, and this year, when she turned 21, she again declined to have a tiara made. Meanwhile, the two daughters of Prince Akishino made new expensive tiaras at government taxpayer expense to commemorate their coming of age. The tiara made by ex-Princess Mako cost about 28 million yen, about $207,000, and was made in the year of the Great East Japan Earthquake 311, which claimed an uncountable number of victims, and ex-Princess Mako celebrated her coming of age luxuriously only 6 months after the earthquake. This episode described the difference of the spirit of these two princes of Japan very well. Many people moved by Princess Aiko's consideration for the people, and we hope Princess Aiko to make her own new tiara. As I have told you in my past video, Prince Akishino renovated his house last year at a cost of 4.4 billion yen. It's about $30 million. The family went to the limit of extravagance with titanium roof, Italian marble for the floors, and gold leaf for the wallpaper in the house. Today, I introduce you the story of the cooking stove of the people. Then which is most suitable to be the next emperor? Princess Aiko, the daughter of the Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako, or Prince Akishino, the younger brother of the emperor? The answer is obvious. We Japanese people want an urgent revision of the imperial house law so that a female, the child of the emperor, can become the next emperor. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video. And if you want to see more truths of Japanese imperial family, please subscribe to my channel. Bye bye. Have a nice day.